Welcome back to Two Guys in the Outdoors. Jason's going to walk you through how to skin and quarter a deer in the field on the ground in a CWD county and make it to where you can actually transport it out of the county. Okay? Enjoy this. A special thanks goes out to David Dotson for the camera work and some of the narratives. It's actually his deer that Jason's doing. So please subscribe, share this with another, and give us a like. Thank you.
All right. This is a CWD county, so and I live outside of a CWD zone, and I think you do as well. So we've got to be able to have the skills and the ability and the equipment with us to skin, quarter, and then debone to where we can legally transport this this deer out of a CWD area. So what I'm going to do is just start here at the ham, and we're just going to skin this thing here on the ground. We'll try to keep as much hair off of it as we can. Basically, we're just going to be working one side at a time. That way we don't get leaves and dirt and debris and all that stuff all over it.
Now, Jason, you can do basically the same thing you're doing without field dressing it first.
Absolutely, yeah. You can. I like to field dress just for simple fact of getting the heat off of it, but I also like to get the inner tenderloins out of them. So, but yes, you can do this without even field dressing.
It's easier to get to those tenderloins if you field dress it first.
Absolutely.
I have seen them taken out though, just from the outside, from the back.
All right, so basically I'm gonna come up here. We're gonna get this hide off of here. Once I get my hand through there, I'm good. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take the leg off of this thing. So what you do is you rub your hand across here and you're gonna feel a low spot. And you find that, so you just rub your hand across it and you're gonna find that low spot, and that's the joint on the knee. And you can remove that leg pretty easily, just like that. And then we can skin right on down that ham.
And that little bit of meat on the shank, I guess, is really pretty much all gristle, right?
It's got a lot of sinew. You can chunk that out and have some grind meat out of it. But yeah, it's got a lot of sinew, a lot of gristle. Pretty much just grind meat. All right, so then I'm gonna come up here to the shoulder, and this one's got a little bit of damage on it, so I don't know how much we're gonna be able to save out of this one, if any. We always recommend that, you know, any place that where the arrow or a bullet or any type of shot, if you're using a shotgun, you know, the best bet is to, if you're in any doubt, you want to discard that meat in around that wound channel just for your personal safety.
I always throw away anything that's bloodshot, but at least this one doesn't have lead in it. I used all copper bullets.
That is a big plus. I'm going to take this one right here where it's broke, I believe. And just see if I can't take it off right there.
Now, the shoulder blade comes off pretty easy.
Yeah.
When you shoot them in or near the shoulder, there's a lot of bloodshot material in the connective tissue, but that doesn't mean the meat's actually bloodshot. Is that right?
That is right. That thing is broke right there.
And all you're doing there is touching your knife gently to the connective tissue.
Yep, right where it meets the meat. Once you do a couple, you're not saving the cape on this thing at all, are you?
No, and this one is not destined for some sort of wall mount.
Because this one's got a really nice neck on it. We can probably get some neck meat out of it.
Yeah, I usually make burger out of that, although you can make a pretty good roast from the neck.
It's a little easier skin that way too. So I'm going to come right on down because we want to be able to get to what people call the tenderloin, the back strap. So we want to skin this thing all the way down. The good thing about a deer, the way their bodies are, they lay good on the side to where you can work from side to side. A bear doesn't work quite as easy as this because they're just made a little different.
Now, chronic wasting disease has never been known to affect people, but they still recommend that you don't eat one that tests positive.
That's right.
To do the test, you have to keep about 4 inches of the neck with the head, and they have drop-off points where you can leave the head, and they'll test the upper part of the neck for the lymph nodes for chronic wasting disease, and then you can look online and find out whether your deer had it. Very few deer, I think only one in this county so far has had it, but it's not everywhere, but it's a good precaution to take if you're hunting in one of those counties.
Absolutely. All right, so now we're going to take the ham off of this deer, since we're working from this side. And basically, I just kind of feel with my knife blade. And you see I took the ball and socket out. And you just kind of cut that cartilage right there and it pops right out. And what I mean by feeling with the knife, you feel that there's a back vertebrae there. So I just like take the knife and let the knife kind of feel.
You're cutting right up against the pelvis, right?
Yep, right up against that pelvis, that hip bone. Trying to keep the meat out of the ground.
Now we brought a tarp to keep the meat clean.
So there's one ham. We're going to take the shoulder and then we can investigate and check this thing out good. But to remove the shoulder, you want to come up right. Ooh, I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but we'll check it out.
The upper part maybe.
Yeah. But come right along the rib cage, and you just kind of follow the rib cage and go right on up to the top of the back, and you'll kind of feel with your knife, you'll kind of feel that shoulder blade. And you can see the edge of that shoulder blade there, that's like a cartilage. And you can tell your knife won't cut it very well. All right, so we've got half of the deer scun out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the inner loin out first before I forget.
This is a nice fat deer.
Yeah, very good.
Looks like he's been eating well.
So what I do is I kind of come in and follow that backbone, and then you can pretty much just pull that loin out of there.
So that's mostly up against the short ribs in the back.
Yep. And that right there, in my opinion, is the best eating of the deer by far. And there's two of them, so don't forget about, there's two of them. So again, follow right along the inside of the back of the ribs there, the short ribs, and then just cut in an angle, and you can just kind of grab a hold of that and pull the biggest part of it out of there.
It's a little easier doing this when the deer haven't been dead too long. This one was killed about 2 hours ago, I suppose.
All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the loin out of this. We probably should have had him uphill, but I think we'll do okay. So what I'm gonna do is just feel for the spine.
That's the knobby part in the center,
Yep. And then we're gonna cut right up
right beside it.
toward the neck, right beside that spine. All right. And then I can feel the hip bone right here. So I'm just going to cut in toward the spine. And then we've got those short ribs here. Again, I'm feeling with the knife, and I know that sounds weird, but you can actually feel through that knife, and I'm following the top of the ribs. You know, a knife's not gonna cut through bone. So if you just run it right along that, then you can kind of just feel your way with the end of your knife. So when I say feel with your knife, that's what I'm doing, is I'm just letting that knife, the knife will cut meat easily, but not bone. So you can kind of, and you can see where I worked right down the top.
Right down to the ribs.
Yeah, right down to the top of the ribs.
And the vertebrae.
And we're gonna go all the way down. And you kind of pull on that as you go, and it'll kind of pull that tenderloin right out of there. And there's the tenderloin. All right.
You want to get some of that neck?
We're going to take off some of this neck meat. We're going to save, yeah, we're about where we need to be. I'm going to skin this down just a little bit. So our goal here is we work one side. So we remove the inner loin, we remove the ham, we remove the shoulder, we remove the tenderloin out of it. We're going to remove the neck meat, and then what we'll do is we'll flip this animal over and just repeat what we've done here. That way we're keeping dirt and leaves and all that stuff off of it. So it's a very effective way, especially if you don't have a way to hang your animal. All right, so that's about, we got about 4 inches right there. So what I'm gonna do is come and just cut right across. And we're gonna do the same thing here. I always avoid the esophagus because it can hold bacteria. And you can see I'm cutting right down to it. So I don't wanna cut that. So I wanna avoid that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and I'm gonna feel with my knife again. And I'm gonna kind of follow the spine and the vertebrae. And we're gonna pull this outer neck meat off of there. And we're gonna come all the way down to about right here where we get bloodshot. They make great roasts. You can grind meat. You can cook them and pull the meat and make barbecue, just like pork barbecue. So don't waste your neck meat, especially on a really nice deer like this one.
Makes good stew meat too.
It does. Soup, stew meat, yep. All right. So we got that really nice. And then, so that's right down to the spine there, and then we'll remove this section of the neck after we flip it over.
So you want to pull the hide out and we'll roll him over?
Yes, let's do that. All right, I got him. Probably ought to flip his head here just so he don't slide downhill anymore. Just like that.
Now you're going to do the same thing.
Now we'll do the exact same thing that we did there.
Yeah, Jason and David did the other side just as they did the first side. And then they also went through the whole carcass to make sure there was no good meat that they would leave behind. We want to make sure we use as much of the animal as possible. So, thank you.